Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be Mario of the Light Bright Boxing Program. How you doing there, Mario?
Good, sir. How you doing today?
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay. We have a boxing business in Rock Hill. We train ages from 8 up to, it doesn't matter really, up to 45 really. We have a good program. I love to train, and we have a lot of good guys out of our gym, so I'm pretty excited about them.
What inspired you to want to be a boxer, find this program, boxing program?
Sure. So I boxed in the military, and then I started boxing in college after that, and I really enjoyed it. I just came a passion, and really enjoyed what I did, and I wanted to share that passion with everybody else, and so I started the program, and we had a lot of success, and we're still continuing growing.
How long has the program been in existence?
We started in 2013, so just slightly over a year right now, January. Yep.
So with the new guys that come in, tell us a little bit about what does it take to be a boxer?
Sure. So any new guys coming in, we always start them off in like a building block program. Basically, we start from the bottom and we work, basic stuff, and then we kind of build off them and their style, and kind of just develop, to what kind of boxer they are. So.
And you are a boxer yourself, and you're still competing.
Yes, sir.
So how do you mix that competing with actually being the coach?
So one of the main things I do, every time we have a match, I always make sure my boxers come first. I never box on the same card my boxers do, because I want to make sure my attention is on them. And I do a lot of training outside of the gym without the guys there, and I do a lot of sparring by myself too, because I don't want them to I want them to focus on them and not focus on me. So that's kind of, it's a tough line to walk on, but I do, and I enjoy it. So.
How do you mix working employment with training?
Very finely.
Correct. It has to be real time consuming.
Yeah, you have to be very, on your P's and Q's, and you got to make sure that you schedule it out, and you got your phone up and your calendar going all the time, and it's challenging, but if you enjoy something, you're going to do better at it. And especially if it's your own, you're going to do even better.
Okay, you're fighting amateur.
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between an amateur and a possible professional career?
So amateur is the first step in boxing. So you always want to go to the amateur level first, and you always want to build up a good record in amateur. And then you definitely, if you would like to, you can move on to the professional level. A big jump in competition-wise, no headgear, small things like that. But it's a pretty big, substantial jump. But you always start in the amateur and then build your way up to the pros.
Now, Mario, with all these different boxers that comes into your camp, how do you determine which one you feel will be a future, what would you consider as a title contender, someone who's going to win a title?
So a lot of it has to do with how much work ethic they have.
Okay.
A lot of these guys sometimes come from not so good backgrounds, but they have the best work ethic in the world, and they're usually guys who usually stand out more. Sometimes the guys who just kind of go in there and go through training motions and enjoy it, but they don't take it as serious, and so you just you always have to train everybody equally, but you certainly want to give attention to the ones who want to work harder.
Normally, how often do the boxers train and compete?
Sure. So, we at our gym, we train 2 days a week of a group setting, and then we spar a third day. And so I actually ask my boxers to do a lot of work outside of the gym, because of the fact that when we come into our class, it is a straight education. What can I teach them? How can I make them better boxers? And what I expect from them is to do the hard work outside the gym, the running, the sprints, the lifting, and everything else that it requires to be a successful boxer.
Okay, you said the running, lifting. Tell the audience exactly what you would consider to be a good routine, training routine.
Sure. So if you want to be a good boxer, you're going to spend at least 5 to 6 days of training. You got 2 days of training with myself in our gym, and then you got 3 days outside of the gym, going for your runs, and then we spar. You want to spar at least once a week. And the more ring experience you have, the more comfortable you're going to feel in the ring, and the easier everything's going to become.
when you get into this competition with other fighters, how do you get them motivated to get in that ring? Because there has to be some butterflies going on.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The first fight is definitely, the tunnel vision goes from here, to right
Correct.
here. And you just got to talk them through and just give them words of encouragement, and you got to really pick up the spirits and tell them like, look, we trained so hard for this competition. Let the world see who you are, and let the world see what you have to offer. And you kind of give them that inspirational talk, and you tell them, just remind them, like, you trained so hard for this. You are fine. You're going to do well. Win, lose, or draw, you're still going to learn.
How do you separate mentally beating your opponent?
So you don't, when you box, well, I should say most boxers are pretty humble. And they have that humble spirit because of the fact that when you get hit a couple times, you certainly humble out a little bit.
Correct.
And you have that respect for the opponent, but you have a job to do. And, you go in there either try to knock him out or you go in there try to box him. I teach my guys to box him, and if the opportunity comes to take him out of the ring, take him out. But you kind of have to just say, like, look, this is a competition. This is, what you train to do, and this is what we're going to do and execute it.
I guess I look at fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali in the past, and they were aggressive as far as trying to get into their opponent's head.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good way to do it, or you try to stay away from that
Well,
for your fighters?
Everybody has different styles, and everybody, you want to train them to what their styles are. But in my gym, I try to teach a little more humility in there. And I try to teach, look, this is your opponent. Yes, we want to respect him as an opponent, but we certainly don't want to respect him when we get to the ring. We want to make sure we do the job and do the job correctly. And, taunting and stuff like that, yeah. In amateur, it's a little different. It's not as tolerable. They don't tolerate that very well. So professional, they let it go on a little bit more. Yeah.
So where do you see Light Bright Boxing 5 years from now?
Hopefully in a big studio with a lot of boxers in there. And, just going from there. We have quite a bit of boxers now. We have a lot of interest, especially in this area. Charlotte area is a beautiful area. And, and hopefully my goal is to continue progressing forward with our boxers, taking some to the national championships, taking some to the Golden Gloves, taking some to the Silver Gloves, Junior Olympics for my juniors. And, the Olympics is part of USA boxing, part of the amateur career. And if they have that ability, we'll go there too.
I know you have, how many boxers do you have currently right now?
So right now I have about anywhere from like 12 boxers and about 8 children boxers. I have youth boxers as well. So total about 15 to 20 on different days.
Describe about 2 or 3 of the boxers that you have that probably been there for a good period of time, and how you feel their progression from the first time they got there to where they're at right now.
Sure. So one of our last competitions we had, Ray Romero, he's been with me the longest. He's been training with me actually when we started. He was training, and he has progressed from just being a brawler to actually a boxer who's got the ability to brawl if need be and got the ability to box if need be. And he's definitely progressed a lot. His last fight, he took the guy off his feet in the second round.
Okay.
And it was a beautiful, he won. The guy got back up, but he won, clearly. And we have a lot of other guys. A lot of new guys coming in. A lot of guys want to try it out. And see, I'd probably say another one would be Trevor. He was at our last fight too, and he actually took the guy out in the first round with a TKO. So, but he works very hard. He's a farmer. He works hard, and he puts hard work in our gym too. So it shows.
So it takes a lot of dedication.
Oh yeah, a lot of dedication.
What would you consider to be an average time for someone to possibly stay in amateur to possibly moving on to professional?
Well, see, okay, I would like to see at least anywhere from 20 fights up, because in the first 10, you're really starting to figure out who your style is and what kind of style you have, and then after that, you kind of really mold into that developmental stage, and any from over 10, you can kind of see, okay, is this a track that I can take to the professional levels, or should I just stay in the amateur levels and get more experience and then go up eventually? But anywhere from 15, 20 over there, somewhere around there.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to see.
I know you have some upcoming fights.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
the audience a little bit about those fights and where we can go out to see your fighters.
Sure, absolutely.
participate.
Yeah, I would love that
Yes, sir.
actually. Yeah, We actually have a really big fight coming up October 25th in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Bone Crusher Smith.
The Bone Crusher Smith.
The Bone Crusher Smith.
Okay.
He actually is hosting the show. And so we're actually going to go down there and send about 5 of our guys down. It's going to be a big show. South Carolina, it's probably one of our bigger shows that we're putting on this year. And there should be a lot of fighters down there, and it should be a great turnout. And also, he's actually doing a documentary film, Bone Crusher Smith is.
Okay.
So, fighters might actually get the opportunity to be on his documentary film, which would be pretty interesting. Mm-hmm.
As far as for the local, what will be your future areas where your fighters will be fighting so that the community will be able to go out and support them?
Sure. So we work a lot with, I work a lot with the other gyms around our area.
Okay.
Just because I figure if, many hands make light work, and so if we can all work together, we can definitely accomplish a lot more. And we're looking around either December or January to put on a show in Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Okay.
So right down the road from here, we had a show there, I think it was in July, and it was a beautiful turnout. We had plus 300 people there. It was a great turnout, great night, and a great night of boxing. We actually had a Golden Glove boxer come there too. He won Golden Gloves 3 times, and he came to box at our show. Mm-hmm.
When you see the support that the community gave you on that day, what did that say about the possible growth of boxing in South Carolina, North Carolina area?
Sure. I actually, a lot of the people complain about MMA being the next boxing. I really think it actually helps boxing come back even stronger, because you're getting people, you're getting strikers, MMA guys are going to striking coaches, they're going to boxing coaches basically, and it's just promoting more. As far as the community-wise, when we had that big turnout, it was something very nice to see, and it just shows you that, if you put it out there, people will come. You just have to work together with the surrounding area and put on shows, and people will come.
Okay, when you have that family member that comes and see their member in the ring, how do you deal with when the fight's not as good as they expected?
Sure.
How do you handle that?
It's just positive attitude. You got to kill them kindness, and you got to work on your weaknesses, and you got to work on your strengths, and you got to continue to develop. And so when you have like a parent and it's not going so well, you send your condolences, but you just reassure them that, look, we'll train harder next time. We'll do better next time. We'll get back in that gym starting on Tuesday and get right back to work. So.
Okay, what's the youngest individual you have?
I actually have 2 6-year-olds right now.
6?
Even though I don't start it, I have my nephew's boxing for us as well.
Okay.
And we have one of our younger boxers' brother. He comes, and USA Boxing doesn't allow competition until 7. They don't allow it. So, but we have 6-year-olds, but I try to get above 6, go around 8 to 7 or 8.
How do you get the younger age mentally into knowing that this is a serious business?
You got to start them with just learning the basics, and then you got to kind of teach them, like, look, this is what we're going to do, and this is why we're going to do this, and progress forward. And a lot of times, the people who come to you, especially even at that young age, it's the parents who want to for protection, self-protection, and then if they want to go to that competition level, I don't make all my kids go to competition. If they don't want to, they don't have to. I want to teach them the art of boxing, because it's a beautiful art, beautiful science. But I do have some kids who want to compete, and it really comes down to them and the parent decision and the coach decision, and that's how that happens.
I know you have your boxing program at your home.
Yes, sir.
How that has to say a lot about you wanting to help these individuals in the box program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I try to do what I can do, and the best we can do right now is start in our house. It's the most cost efficient for us. We can make sure we get new equipment for our boxers, make sure that they're not going out there with, retired equipment, or, they're going out with their good stuff. And I really want to help people out. So, there's